trying to find apple cider that does not have preservatives in it. Because my nephew wants to make mead using apple cider as part of the piece, and if it has preservatives in it, it kills some of the yeast.
What about Carlson Richards?
I might.
It says the really cloudy. I don't know if it has preservatives or not. I know that it definitely goes
Yeah.
alcoholic if you let
Okay.
it to.
Listen
try
to
to
the
make that-
giggles from
yeah,
the
he's
back
trying-
of the
he's trying to
room.
make-
Why? Did you like
Yeah,
snag one, leave it in a closet? Come on, you can tell us.
No,
No.
I don't drink alcohol now, and I'm over 21.
My roommate doesn't really drink alcohol. There's a lot left over from the party on Saturday, so
You gotta
I have,
find a
I have
way
a
to-
nice supply to last me a while. Well, we specifically bought things that I like drinking, so that if there were leftovers,
You'd be okay with it.
I'd be okay with it. That cake was amazing.
Yeah.
So,
I had a cupcake
at-
because the
at the-
cupcakes were just beautiful.
right, at the,
They were the flowers with
and
the.
someone was pointing out that the colored frosting in the flowers was flavored. Someone noticed that the purple had lavender hints in it, and that the dark red had raspberry hints in it.
Have you
I
tried,
I thought that was
I
like
did
bringing,
really like
bringing
it.
a cake to a next
it
level,
had
is flavoring the colored.
It had sprinkles on it or
Yeah.
sparkles on it, which is really cool.
have you ever tried, lilac? Is it lilac lemonade, where you pick like the fresh lilac and you immerse, and you immerse
So,
them?
As
They're really
any good party,
It would.
Ross and I
probably
did
kill
not take
me.
a single
That would be
photograph.
Crazy.
And so I sent a text out to many of the people that like, did anyone happen to take? And we actually get at least one
You
good
got
one on the
one.
cake.
That's really nice.
We got a
cake.
couple other decent ones.
It's a really nice
Because you
cake.
sent some overseas.
I
Yeah,
sent
yeah.
some, of you up there because I didn't see anybody taking photos and
Yeah.
I followed Robin around for so long and
Right.
every time there's things
Yep.
you must take pictures so that you have them to give to the
To give out.
comms person and yes,
Uh,
program.
but before I called him, one of the, we used 1870 Town Hall, of
Mhm.
course. So now I have some more firsthand experience of like the rental
Nice.
process and the use process. I can tell you, my friends all found the place quite stunning and fun.
Ken
so.
Porter actually talked to me about how we could do sound dampening in there so
Okay.
people could actually hear each
Oh,
other when they
nice.
talked, and he said it would be only a couple $1,000. So.
See? Hey, let's get started. Welcome everybody to the Berlin Select Board for Monday, September 29th. It is 6 o'clock. I am calling the meeting to order. We only have a couple of agenda items tonight. The first thing is the tax classification public hearing. We are sort of redoing or revisiting one of the votes on the split tax rate. And so let's see, I got to read a notice here. The Berlin Select Board shall hold a public hearing on Monday, September 29th at 6 p.m. for the purpose of a revote on the split tax rate shift only. We'll explain more what that is in a bit. No other change to the fiscal year 26 tax classification we made here. It is a public hearing where people can attend by Zoom or in the room. And you can also send us written comments at an email address, and several people have. And I'll make comments on those as we get into the meeting as well. I think we need a motion to call that hearing to order, correct? So you want to,
She's shaking her head.
yes,
Motion to call the meeting to order.
Seconded.
all in favor, say aye. Aye. There, the meeting starts. We did get a couple of emails about this, and I had a couple people talk to me about it as well. I want to make it clear to people watching that this meeting is not about how much money the town is spending. The amount of money the town is spending for the fiscal year that we're due the taxes on was set at town meeting. And so this is, I jokingly say, this is a math formula meeting where we figure out sort of how the taxes are divvied up. And it's not like, the people I like pay X and the people I don't like pay Y. It is, this particular vote is going to be how much we're putting on the commercial property taxpayers of the town versus the residential taxpayers of the town. We can ask more, and I can say more later if we want to get into it. The reason we're coming back to this revote meeting is that towards the end of the last meeting, we realized that one of the numbers we were basing our decisions on was incorrect. That last year, the shift was 1.44. We were 45, sorry, 1.45. And we were in the assumption it was 1.49. And that might have made a difference in our ultimate decision because we ended up voting on 147, right?
Yes.
And really with those numbers, I'm going to try to say this right, so correct me if I say it wrong, really means that the commercial taxpayers are paying about 47% more of the tax burden than they would if we just had a single tax rate, and thus the residentials pay a significant less. Am I close in saying that's correct?
Yeah, and last time we had less options, only 5 options, so I
Right.
believe you all have more options and what I truly believe it's just the share percentages
Right.
between the residential and commercial. That's what we have to kind of focus on, and then
Right.
the tax rate, because it's estimates only
Yeah,
until
yep.
we plug all the numbers, because
Right.
I think.
There are other smaller numbers that have impact
Correct,
beyond this, yes.
goes after we submit all the numbers that can make.
And it is
some
true that one of
changes.
the things that really impacts us this year, and you hinted at it, is that one decent sized commercial tax payer has sold their land to a nonprofit that's going to be doing some pretty, I think, incredible and good and work. But as a nonprofit is not paying property taxes, so we've lost a larger property taxpayer. And if you have 1,000 people dividing $1,000 bill, that's $1 each. But if you have 900 people splitting $1,000 bill, you have to pay a little bit more than $1 each. I can't do that math.
No, yeah,
that
and
quickly in my head.
That is correct. We did lose an industrial
Right.
property that it was classified and an exempt, but I think this year we managed to capture a little bit of more growth than anticipated. And also the small commercial exemption is significantly
Yeah.
like lower compared to last year. So that's gonna help a little bit with the offset.
Where do we want to start the discussion on what?
I believe you all have the options from no shift, which is number 1. And then do you all have this spreadsheet on
we have
the
the
share
spreadsheet and-
percentages? Yes,
And Lisa's put some together as well,
Mhm.
which are, I think, some of the numbers, but focused on sort of 0.36 to
point
put
three-
1.36 to 1.5.
Okay, okay. 1.36, the share, the residential, it's 80, the commercial 15.02. And then the estimated tax for residential would be 14.3. Is this correct? These are
Yeah,
the
yeah,
numbers? Yes.
Yeah.
I'll use your numbers just to generate some percentages of
Okay.
approximately how much things would shift for the commercial and for the residential based on the shifts.
Okay, great.
And then do you want proposals to
I
that?
have a place to start at least.
Okay. Take it away, Lisa.
So, I just put together at least a starting recommendation of, 1.4. With modeling the shifts from 1.36 to 1.50 shows that a CIP shift, a commercial shift of approximately 1.40 aligns with the percentage change in average tax bills across residential and commercial classes. At this level, average single-family home, 707,787 tax bill. All of these numbers are informational, as the assessor noted, they're approximate. $10,000 or 0.66, an increase of 6.1% from FY 25. Average commercial would increase 6.5%. So for me, like looking at that, having both of them go up about the same amount. Whereas if we did it to the prior factor of 1.45, you'd go up 5.1% for residential, and the commercial would jump to 10.3%. Berlin's commercial, industrial, and personal property base is relatively small, representing about 14% of the town's total taxable value. Increasing the split above 1.4 would concentrate a disproportionate share of the levy on a narrow set of parcels, many of which are already experiencing double-digit valuation increases due to revaluation. This could increase volatility, raise business costs, and affect the town's competitiveness in retaining and attracting commercial taxpayers. A residential factor corresponding to a SIP shift of 1.4 balances fairness and stability, keeping residential and commercial increases closely aligned while avoiding over concentration on the commercial base. So that was my
Yep.
opening volley.
Right. And I appreciate that, because that's, I think, what we're looking for, is we're looking at trying to get us down, because it really, again, the commercial pie is shrinking. And so our ability to rely on them to keep our taxes down is becoming less. And as you point out, if we stayed about where we were before, it does mean that residential rates only go up, the previous vote we took at least would have only gone up 4.6, but commercial rates would have gone up 11 3/4, and they have some of the same things as well. And if I share those concerns, we have the taxes go up too fast. We run the businesses out, and it becomes even harder to because their values for a business, a lot of it is based on profitability and sales. And if they can't do that, or they move to another town, they don't pay any taxes, and more falls to the residential. And so trying to keep them in line, yeah, I think is a good way to go. I think there will be some people who see these percentages and feel some sticker shock. And something that is tired that I've said several times is that at town meeting in May, the voters present had 3 opportunities to decide on spending less money or more money. And they chose spending more money, one of which was even against the recommendation of FinCom and the select board. And then their opportunity to sell the parcels of land that would add to the tax base and share some of this tax burden was rejected. And so I think as people go to town meetings, that really has way more impact on the taxes you pay than this meeting does.
Yeah.
And to be fair, the select board and FinCom this year, I think for the first time in my memory, and probably a lot of memories, the cost of operating the non-school portion of town shrunk. Not
Right.
shrunk a lot. I think it was less than even 1%. But there's not a lot of public bodies out there who actually year over year, not adjusted for inflation, not with other assets, the cost of operating the police, fire, the operations of the town of Berlin went down a tiny bit. And we cut, I argued to cut more. I think I clearly argued for things that even I wouldn't necessarily want to see happen. But it's not going to be easy to cut again next year, because we cut a lot of things that people wanted. And so I encourage folks to really, if you want to find ways to reduce government, feel free to send your suggestions in. The budget process is just starting. Now is a great time to follow along, follow the FinCom meetings, and give your suggestions on ways that you think you can reduce the tax burden on all of us.
Yeah, just a couple things to add to that. If the 6.1%, the residential revaluation, residential went up by 6%, correct? So that's really just kind of right at that, things were revaluated at 6%. The levy increase was 3.7. So a lot of this increase has to do with revaluation, because you shift over from the being 85%, the residential, when it goes up, is going to shift over some of that balance.
Right, and why it's always hard for us to say your tax bill is going to go up by X, and why several of us try to avoid numbers is your individual results are going to based on what happened to your property on that revaluation versus the neighboring properties versus just there's a lot of things that go into these numbers that get to the bill you receive in the mail. Do you have things you want to add?
No, just that the people watching may see papers going back and forth. Lisa had done this, but due to open meeting law, was only allowed to give them to Scott and I tonight. So if you see me looking down quite a bit tonight and it doesn't look like I'm paying attention, I am. I'm just trying to absorb the information that's on here.
And one of them, like I said, was just the percentages, because I find it very helpful to see how much those percentages shift based on
Yeah.
that factor.
I like
Um,
those two columns.
And then I read most of the other thing that I gave, and I gave them to Dee, so she can also post them if she wants to. With the meeting minutes, if anybody wants to see them.
I'm happy with 1.4.
There isn't anything that's screaming in my head that would make me counter anything, so I take that as a good sign. Well, and you know me with
Yeah.
egg math, that, you know,
Yeah.
if something was like off, I'd be
Yeah.
out there, but it's not, so.
And I did, also these numbers, I touched base with Jason and he independently did come up with the same results, so.
Scott, could I add one more thing to your, it's
Go
Kristen
for it, Kristen.
from Beyond. I was just going to say, you're spot on with the FY 26 budget. I actually just pulled up the budget sheet to see how much the budget increased. And this is the final budget, including the additional COA money that was voted at town meeting. The budget went up $8,724 on the town side. And that is because we took a hit or a hammer to it, about $250,000. So that's pretty unheard of. And I, think that I'm hoping we're able to manage through the fiscal year with that. But, I do applaud the select board and the FinCom for helping take a really hard look at that budget. I would caution that there's really nowhere else to cut this year unless we start cutting entire departments, because what we did was focus on expenses. So now that the expense budgets are extremely lean and there's no wiggle room there, then you have to start looking at personnel. So I just wanted to add that factor in.
And I think we have some great personnel in town. I think
Mhm.
everyone works very hard to stretch pennies as far as they can go. I looked pretty hard at places and, there was some administrative stuff, but you're right. If we're going to cut further, it's going to be cutting
People.
programs.
Programs.
Not, again, I don't think there, I'm sure we can find a few pennies here and there, but
It's not
it's
gonna
a
be anything
$15 million
significant.
budget. And so even finding a couple thousand is not really going to make a significant difference.
I'm good. I'm reading and reading and
Yeah.
and there's nothing
Yeah.
that's coming.
Ready for a motion?
Indeed.
Gosh. Move that the select board adopt a residential factor of 1.40 for fiscal year 2026, thereby establishing a single, no, that's not, why
Right.
does that say single?
Split.
A split,
Percentage share.
okay, I move that the select board adopt a residential factor of 1.40 for fiscal year 2026, thereby establishing a split tax rate between the residential and commercial, industrial, and personal property classes.
Seconded.
Right, so it's so the commercial side will have the 1.4. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then, do you have an estimated about when you think tax bills will go out now that we delayed things a week?
A week.
I will try to run some tests and basically I have to extract
Yeah.
my tax file, dump it into the treasurer collector, do some tests and hopefully this week.
Oh, you really think, wow, that fast?
I think Department of
That's
Revenue
her part of
also
it.
has to give a final approval.
Right,
Okay.
right. So
Once
probably
I get
like
certified.
by mid-October is what you're expecting then.
Yes.
Yes, okay.
I think June is here. She can help us. Do you think we can have the DOR on vacation?
Depends on how it falls.
Yep.
On the table.
Yep. So since June didn't have a camera, the rep that, the staff person at the state who then has to sign off on this is on vacation in this week? Yes. So, right.
Yeah, because
But
this
people
is-
should expect around October, if there's some delays, it could be later in October, but it will not be anything like we've seen the last couple of years. And so, it will, it'll be there soon. Yep. Is there a motion to close the tax hearing?
Motion to close the tax hearing.
Seconded.
All in favor, say aye. Aye. We have one other item on their agenda tonight, consideration of a film permit application submitted by Prosciutto
Linda.
Pictures
Thank you, Kevin.
for a place in town. But they also utilize 1870 Town Hall. And the reason we've added it to our agenda here now is that they're planning on doing the filming
On the 7th.
on the 7th, right, which would be too close to our meeting time on the 6th for them to actually do proper planning.
Yeah, and it was a last minute.
Yep.
Request on Friday.
Yep.
And we do have Justin Thompson from the production company here. He's a location person and he can speak to the application.
Hey, how
Sure.
you doing? So yeah, we're looking to film at the 1870 Hall. We're turning it into a police bullpen. October 7th, tentative call time 8 a.m. Tail lights 8 p.m. It's a very small footprint, about 20 cast and crew. We have private crew parking, so no road closure in front of the 1870 Hall, and 2 box trucks and 1 Sprinter van for our transportation footprint. We shot here last year prior to Widow's Bay coming through. And it was a great set and we had a great time. So we have another show and we're hoping to come back.
Great. Do we have any feedback from?
No
department heads?
negative feedback,
Okay, no negative.
all
feedback.
positive.
Great. Is there a motion?
Motion to approve?
Seconded.
I think this is great. All in favor? Aye. There you go. We will sign this and get this out to you.
Thank
Great,
you,
thank
Justin.
you.
Thank you, Dustin.
Thank you.
Before we go, can
Yep.
we, I mean, I'm looking at the film permit application. Can we maybe bump this up to the top to be updated because it still references a former chief of police, calls us select men, not
Yes,
select
it
board.
is on my list and I did revisit that today, but I just wasn't able to finish it.
Okay.
Because there's a couple other things that I need to put in that
Okay.
application.
If you need help, holler. We'll help you. You know that.
Yeah.
All right, I'm adding it to the list of
Thanks,
things we want to do, which is a
Just
fairly
up there.
large list.
I know.
That is the, oh, actually, look at this. It's actually on the list of policies that are high on the list to look at.
Yeah.
Is there a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
And seconded.
All in